welcome back to the program. It's now 5 minutes past 7 a.m. Welcome to the program. It's now time for us to take a look at what we have on the political arena. I'm Victor Oloo. And welcome to the show. Please talk to us on our social media platforms and tell us where you're watching us from and what is the situation around you. On set, I have Dan Nyaga, who is a political analyst and a senior citizen. He's a serious taxpayer in the country. And Peter Simba Wasaga, who is an advocate of the High Court and also a governance expert. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oloo.
It's a cold morning in the city. How is it taking you, Dan? Let me start with you first of all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oloo. I think it's a cool Tuesday morning.
Right.
With a lot of hula baloo along the streets. But I think it's still calm.
Yes.
At the moment.
Right.
Yes.
Wakili, you must be busy, people right now. Arrests happening, abductions and legal representations here and there. First of all, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
How is it? How is Kenya?
Kenya to me, it's a turning point for Kenya.
Right.
It's a good time to live, and we are experiencing the voiceless now take up the mantle, which is very motivating, both to Generation Z, millennials, and even Generation X. Because what they didn't do, the Gen Zs are doing it. And they are doing it better, with better tactics. So it is a very good and interesting times to live.
Dan is not happy about that statement.
I'm not happy about that statement. But all in all, Oloo,
There is something you did not do.
there's something we did not do during our time. But let me just put it this way. You know, when you are a father, you nurture your children to become tomorrow leaders. And during our youth, we were being told the future leaderships belong to the youth.
Yes.
And now these are the youth that we were being told. During our tenure, we did not take that mantle to agitate for that change. But let me acknowledge what Peter said. We are in a digital world, and things are changing. And perhaps the millennials did not factor that one day we shall have a revolt in this country. But there was a revolt during the Kenyatta times, during the Tomboya times. And we have seen other nations even being overtaken by the Generation Z. So what is happening in Kenya is not a new thing. It is a change.
It was just a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. And this wave, I think, has just arrived at the right time. Because when we look at the 2022 elections, so many people did not vote, over 80 million. So this is the reaction of the votes that were not casted during the 2022. And I can tell you, Oloo, things are going to change in this
Things
country.
are going to change.
Yes.
Do you believe the same thing, Peter? Because 8 million, according to the IEBC data, 8 million people did not vote.
Yes.
And you would imagine, come 2027, the number would even go higher. In another round of voter registration, the number will go higher. Allow me to ask you this way. Perhaps somebody would argue that this was something that was being bottled up, and then now it has reached its elastic limit. It's now erupting, like a volcano.
Exactly. This is just a tip on the iceberg. It's just an indication of many things that are yet to come and are yet to be done by the Gen Z and the youth. Looking at the census, the 2019 census, Kenya is about 47 million, going to 50 million. And out of this population, almost 20 million are youth. And many times the youth have taken a backseat on politics. They have always waited to be given directions on which direction to follow. But then they have realized that waiting to be shown direction is basically crucifying yourself into economic slavery, because they are the youth who need to come up with, these youths are struggling with life. These taxes are directly affecting them. So if they don't speak, they are affected.
Yes.
So what you need to question about all this revolution and these demonstrations and the rising up of the youth is very simple. The youth feel they are not represented and their numbers have been taken for granted. Take, for example, even in Uhuru's, in the president's cabinet, Ruto's cabinet, whereas Article 55 provides for representation of the youth and involving them in the governance and making them participate in political processes in both arms of the government, starting from the executive, going to the judiciary, going to the legislature. Look at the cabinet, for example. The person who is representing the youth, the youngest, and who is in charge of youth and sports is 48 years.
We all know selection of a cabinet is always a balancing act even to the cabinet. So the president, Peter.
And of course, with this big constituency of about 20 million, you cannot tell me that there is no one between the age of 18 to 34 who can hold that docket. The second, maybe the second youngest cabinet secretary is Joguna Ndungu, who is in charge of finance, 50 years old. Look at the third, the third youngest is Chelugui, who is 52 years. And so you expect these people to represent the youth with the dynamic changes in digital platforms, with the dynamic needs. It's not possible. So the youth have actually come to a realization that they have become a menu for a very long time, and they want to force their way to the table.
But all said, and they are also doing it. But the question is, do they really understand what they are doing right now? Dan, do you think, well, they're learned.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is a majority of people on the streets are learned. With our interaction with them, some of them are even journalists.
Yes.
Who graduated from universities but have not gotten a platform like this one. Some of them are doctors, some of them are engineers. But do they really understand the simple and the nitty-gritties in that finance bill and what the Constitution say in as far as demonstration, picketing, Article 37, 32, 33, etc. is all about? Go ahead. I'll come to you as well,
the nitty-gritty the nitty-gritty of the Generation Z. The reason behind this generation is the representation. These guys have been to school. Now, when you tell me that tomorrow leadership belongs to the youth, and you take me through the education system, and I don't feel that I am playing part in building the nation of Kenya, what are you telling me? You are denying me the chance to explore the opportunities.
Right.
These opportunities are what these guys are agitating for. Because now, assuming we have a graduate who have done economics, and someone is going to the parliament who has never been to university. We have so many degrees, fake degrees in that parliament. But those are the guys you are seeing with the money bags in Dorothy and across the country. And these are the guys who are registrators. And these are the guys who are denying our youth the chance to actually explore themselves. Now let's come to the nitty-gritty. The reason why the Gen Z are actually agitating for the change, and this is a revolution that is coming up to reality, is one. Over 70% of this Gen Z are jobless. These are the hawkers who are hawking in Ekomba. These are hawkers who are hawking in Embu. These are the guys who have the material in their brains.
And where's the problem with that hawking in Gikomba, Dan?
The problem is, the problem is, when you impose ridiculous taxes on everything, like now, let me just give you a very simple scenario. I am a farmer, for example. I rear poultry. When you go to...
You know, he's just busted his bubble.
No. I'm just taking... No. We are talking reality.
Okay.
We are talking of reality.
Right.
These guys, they have been to the village. We hear the narrative of Rigiji the other day. He's a villager. These guys are the villagers. And they have been brought up in the village.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, assuming he has 50 chicken, and they are laying, and he's relying on those eggs so that he can put a bread on the table. So one day, this guy wakes up in the morning. The cost of the food that he is now using to rear the chicken has been doubled. One egg, the production of one egg, for example, is 5 shillings. When I take that egg to the market, I pay cess to the municipality, to the county government. I pay cess. When I am selling to the wholesaler, that wholesaler has a tax imposed on that egg. So my production of one egg is 5 shillings. By the time I get to the market, it's 10 shillings. you have not taxed that egg. When you as a consumer, you are buying that egg, you are buying it at 20 shillings. Who is being cheated? It is the farmer. Because when I take it to the wholesaler, I'm getting only 5 shillings.
Yeah.
What is the cost of producing one egg? Is more than 10 shillings. So it is the farmer who is being cheated. This farmer is the youth, is the Gen Z, who has been struggling with education. This boy, this girl, has come from the village, whereby there is no resources. The resources are scarce.
Do you have Gen Zs in your house?
Yes, of course.
Do you support them going to the
I am
street?
100% supporting them.
Let's take a look at what we have on the papers. On the front page of the Standard, tax rebellion, Ruto's wiggle room shrinks. That is also the front page of the Standard newspaper. Tax rebellion, Ruto's wiggle room shrinks. The explainer goes that Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has warned the youth that action will be taken for demos beyond 6:30 p.m. and if they attempt to access protected areas. However, the youth are not relenting, saying that the finance bill being debated today must be dropped. Gentlemen, we've seen even the church coming out yesterday.
Yes.
NCK came out, said that they are supporting the demonstrations. They also want the same bill to be dropped in its entirety. What options do you think the president now has? Peter.
The option that the president has...
And based on that headline as well.
It's very simple. You see, the youth and the citizens of this country have delegated their sovereign power to the president. They have delegated their sovereign power to their elected representatives. And what they expect from them is an ear that hears when they cry. They need an eye that sees their tribulations and suffering.
Yes.
And they need a compassionate heart. It's very simple. Reject that bill. He needs to reconsider. Then engage the whole country in a constructive dialogue, not a public participation that is done for the sake and just to do it to evade any legal recourse that may emanate or that may arise from failure to do that.
Yeah.
The youth and the citizens are looking for a transparent government whereby their wills and their wishes are spoken and are taken into consideration. So the president needs to take into consideration the voice of the youth, the voice of the citizens, and engage them in a constructive engagement, not just an engagement, or a one-time engagement that has always been witnessed. One peculiar thing about these demonstrations and about this movement by the youth and the awareness, it's not by the youth alone. The youth have taken it up. They have taken up the leadership. It's very simple. One, the youth require transparency. Article 129. Look at Article 10 of the Constitution of the national values. We need transparency. We are not deficit of taxes. We pay taxes, but there is no accountability, even in the taxes that we already have to pay.
Yes.
There is no proper responsibility, fiscal responsibility. There is no plan for debt management. We need to engage this youth. We need to engage the citizens to understand all this. Number two, we also need to now have, apart from just engaging them, we also need to involve them in the decision-making process. If we involve them in the decision-making process, they will own up the entire bill. Because if you do not include them, they are prone to misinformation. Then they are prone also to be agitated.
Yeah.
So the president needs to listen, number one. Number two, he needs, after listening, of course he has listened. Through the protest, through his allies. I'm told that I don't know the veracity of them, that their political advisors of the president are being advised by the president. So I wonder why they keep holding those high positions, taking salaries, and instead of just letting the president do his work, if they cannot give that advice. So we need such constructive dialogue. Two things that I have noted from these demonstrations. This movement is beyond a person. It is beyond faces. It is beyond political parties. Initially, demonstrations were seen to be led by opposition, to be led by civil societies, who many people believed were either paid or were advancing their own political interest and political needs. But this is a group that is full of energy and who are leveraging on ideology and what is actually on the ground. So it is very difficult to deal with them as they are dealt with the initial demonstrations. Number two, this youth movement have also developed new tactics. They go to the street, and now I'm comparing it with the previous demonstrations. You see, the previous demonstrators, they would go to the street from, let's say, 9 to 5 or 6, and then they go back and sleep and wait for the following week.
Yes.
But these guys have the energy to take it through the week. They do it in the morning to evening. After that, they go to the digital space on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. They advance it. They do it on by donating blood. They do it by going to their DJs and their joint areas. They are very energized. So it's not a person that you cannot just wish away with the propaganda. I had a member of parliament the other day, I think, was it Kagombe, saying that those who are demonstrating are basically Illuminati. You see, such thinking is it's a fallacy. You see, you cannot deal with it with the same tactics you dealt with Raila. These are people who are informed.
Okay. I hear you. But then the question is, Dan,
yes,
when you look at the whole situation, and then basically, at what point do you think they are going to relent? Do you think they have got energy, the gusto, to continue, and for how long?
Do you think they're going to relent, Oloo?
That's the question I'm asking you.
I don't think so. Let me take you through the Kenya political history. We used to have James Orengo here at Nairobi campus during the late President Moi era. And we used to have fracas on Nairobi streets almost every evening. As we walk out of the offices, we could find the University of Nairobi student on the rampage. The reason being, we are being taken back to Moi era by this regime. And I want to put it very clearly, Oloo, to the Kenyans who are listening. The problem we are having today, and Wakili has just elaborated very clearly, is about involvement. It's about involvement. The Kenya Constitution is very clear that you have to do public participation. Now, when you bring a finance bill in Parliament, whereas my fridge in Embu County, the villagers have not even been involved. They don't know the contents of that bill. They have not even been asked what are the challenges you are facing on the ground. And then when you hear a mere MP, a legislator has been given 175 million per year by the CDF. And when you evaluate the work that 175 million has done for a year, there's nothing to show on the ground. And then you come and tell me you want to add more tax?
Yeah.
The report is going to go on. And I'm actually supporting this Gen Z, 100%. Because the message they are telling us, we as their fathers, the message they are sending to the Kenyans is very clear. Things need to be changed, and things need to be done in the right way.
Things need to change,
things need
the right way.
Yes.
This is a breakfast show. Please take your cup of coffee.
Thank you.
As I go through the newspaper.
Thank you.
On the front page of the Daily Nation, what do we have? Ruto's options. Just 2 words. Ruto's options. That is what's on the front page of the Daily Nation. And now, the finance bill is here. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki also spells out rules on engagement for protesters. And they say that President William Ruto and his team of advisors are caught up in a delicate balancing act to find the best way of a stalemate that has triggered countrywide protests. And now the options are not only intended to assuage the public anger that is brought about by some of the tax proposals, but also to ensure that smooth running of the government. We also have here on the front page that move grades 8 to 9 to high school. That's on the front page of the Daily Nation. And very quickly, finally, on the front page of the Star, cops to cordon off State House and Parliament. That is what is here. Protesters ready to pour into the streets in all major towns today. And security think tanks blame crisis on poor management communication. That is what's on the front page of the Star newspaper. That is what is here. But in as far as security is also concerned, gentlemen, yesterday the first batch of the Kenya security officers left for Haiti, the mission. Yes. And they were flagged off by the president. So here we have them. Yesterday night, the took off to Haiti. The only thing we can do is to wish them all the best.
We wish them
all the best. Coming back to our discussion, so let me ask you, Peter, the only situation we have here, and it's also forming part of my discussion, is the Gen Z say that Operation Occupy Parliament, but Parliament is a protected area. State House is a protected area, and other government installations, you know, talk of the consulates, talk of the ambassadorial homes and all that, those are protected areas. These do not have their leaders. You know, they don't have a leader. So how are they going to move forward in as far as this is concerned?
You see, one thing, these people have their leader, and they are seeking the attention of their leaders. So if you say that they don't have a leader,
they have said they don't have a leader.
They have leaders.
Do have leaders.
They are only seeking attention of their leaders, who are not willing to listen to them.
Who do you think is the leader here?
Of course, we have elected our president.
No.
He's our leader.
No, the Gen Z.
The Gen Z.
They have come out faceless, tribeless. They don't have a leader, and in fact, they said anybody claiming to be our leader is lying. Everybody's a leader.
And I was coming to that.
All right.
There is a leadership vacuum. And so the youth have taken back their sovereignty. And they are moving with it. They are trying to seek the attention of those they elected to represent their wishes and wills, who are not doing it. And that's why they have been pushed to the wall to move to protected areas. You see? They need the attention because, you see, other than the sovereignty of the people, I mean the provisions under Article 1, which provides that this elected representative should actually advance and represent their people, who actually sent them. You see, a member of parliament in Kiswahili is called Mjumbe.
Yeah.
Mjumbe, translated in English, is basically someone who is sent to deliver a message.
Yeah.
So we have sent representative and we have given them the authority to lead us. And then they misrepresent us. So that's why the youth are advancing to voice out their concerns.
I think,
because
let me add something to Wakili.
Go ahead.
I think when we look at the current president of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, in 1992, he was the leader of Youth Kenya, YK 92. What I'm trying to say is, we have been having this Generation Z year in, year out, but their voice has been condensed. It is now high time they have come out loudly to speak out, because when we look at YK 92, which was led by the current president, the voice of the youth was there. The voice of the Gen Z was there. What they have now done is they want proper representation in parliament. They want proper registration. How do we do this? We engage them. If you go to the Senate, we have an office for the youth representative. If you go to parliament, we have a parliamentary youth. But have you ever had them given platform in those houses to voice on behalf of this Gen Z? No, not a single day. What I was telling you, Oro, is about this finance bill that we have. How many youth do we have doing economics in this country? Why can't they be involved during the drafting of this finance bill? Wakili, have you been involved?
No.
Have you been consulted?
No.
And you're in that category. So what I'm saying, the message these guys are telling us is, let us engage them. And that's why I'm saying I'm 100% supporting them. Because if we don't involve them, how are they going to run? Suppose we have a leader of this Gen Z. Do you know, Oro, I have been called by several registrators that we are financing them. Then you wonder, what kind of finance can you give these guys? They have everything.
You've been called?
I've been called by my area MP that I'm part of the guys financing them. Then I told him, tip the evidence. Because how do you finance these guys?
Do you finance anybody?
I don't finance them. I support them morally. And guiding them.
And spiritually.
And spiritually. Yes, because I don't want to see my daughter or my son being mauled by the police. So I guide them. Kindly don't touch anybody's property. Don't destroy. Because you are destroying your future. That building, you are going to throw stone. That building is where you are going to work tomorrow. So I guide them. But these guys in the parliament, they think that this Gen Z has a leader. It is us who are the activists. It is us who are the political analysts who are financing them, which is a fallacy. And what I want Wakili to understand today, Bwana Oloo, is one, the job market in this country is scarce. And you find that someone has 3 daughters, someone has 4 sons, and you are taking them to the government. You are holding them a hand, and you are giving them opportunities.
Yes.
What about the guy who is at the village and is a graduate, who is going to hold his hand? Do you know, Oloo, what is happening in this government? If you don't have a connection, you cannot get a chance.
I've heard that a lot. You know, Peter, he said something that the president would remove in 92. That is 32 years ago.
Yes.
You know, the good book says that what goes around comes around.
Comes around.
You know, that was during Moise regime, so it's now coming back to
I was just now.
There is
What was it now? You can
one
continue.
ideology that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The reason as to why the Gen Z do not want to be identified by any leader is that a specific leader is easily compromised.
Yes.
We have representatives even in the Senate. We have representatives in the National Assembly. But some of them voted yes. Why? It's because it is politics of tokenism. There have been allegations, even by members of parliament, that to vote for this bill, they were awarded. I don't know the veracity of that, but there was a claim by one member of parliament that he was asked to take 2 million. They were bribed.
Use the word bribed.
Bribed to the brown envelopes.
Use the word bribed.
Yes.
And you are bribed to actually legislate matters that affect your fellow citizens.
Which is
Peter, you can use the word alleged.
Allegedly, because I want to be very safe.
We understand.
So
allegedly.
Allegedly. And it comes from a member of parliament.
Right.
Who alleges that
a member
he,
from
Juja constituency, that they were bribed 2 million. So 2 million in this economy with a youth who is unemployed, a youth who has no job, a youth who has no source of income, is likely to go and take that money.
Yes.
And if he takes that money, he shall have betrayed the other youth. We have seen various youths in the past who have gone through that process. And sometimes I find it very ironical. Some of them who actually were supporting this government initially are now coming to castigate the same government. And let me tell you something, Oloo. You see, this government was built on a platform of bottom-up economy.
Yes.
It gave a lot of hopes to the mamambogas, it gave a lot of hopes to the youth, and it promised so many goodies. And actually, many people came into this regime with a lot of optimism. But that has since been watered down.
Patience is a virtue. Peter.
Patience is a virtue, we understand, but then we must you see, we need to see that something is happening. There is a common say in law that justice needs to be seen to be done, not just being done. It must be seen. You see, when this regime came into power, they alleged that the public debt was very bad and there was a lot of debts left by the previous regime. They were trying to write off what the other regime had actually done. But looking at what they are doing right now, you are adding more taxes to individuals, yet a member of parliament in one weekend goes to a fundraiser and dishes out 20 million. You see, 20 million, if you are running a hospital, a very small hospital in Nairobi, you can run it with about 200,000 in a month, paying salaries and buying medicine. So 200,000, just a small arithmetic, times 10 is about 1.2 million. That is in 1 year. I mean, in times 12, it's about 1.2. Is it 1.2? No, it's about 2 million.
It's up to 2.4.
2.4 million. Yeah. 2.4 million divided by 20 million. What do you get?
Around 8 years.
8 years. That can finance a hospital for 8 years. We are doing that, yet JSS teachers are out striking. And after they called off their strike, they were actually given a blackout, and their employment terminated. And right now they are being blackmailed that unless we pass this bill, this JSS teachers will not be absorbed in. There was teacher strike. So it's a government of blackmail, but then we see it that there is a lot of misallocation and misappropriation. Number two, look at what have we ever gotten right. Even the other day, we were hosting a tournament in Malawi.
Imagine.
Kenya, sports, we have not gotten it right. The free the feeding program has been actually taken, has been scrapped off. So
There's no funding.
There's no funding. So we are asking ourselves, where do you take our taxes? What motivates us to give taxes? Because we give you taxes, you buy luxurious watches, you drive in Mercedes Benzes and V8s, Range Rovers, and you go in high-end hotels, traveling all over, and then you come and tell us we need to increase basic commodities such as bread, basic commodities such as fuel, which when they are increased, what happens? The cost of living shoots up, the purchasing power reduces, and you don't even meet those
Peter,
those targets.
let me tell you, give me that money today, I'll also buy an autobiography, the latest one, and have a full tank and drive to nowhere.
But then we need you not to misallocate. You see, that is your own private business. But that private business, we must also look at it vis-a-vis
Yes.
the money and the allocation. Because you cannot tell us that, Oloo, you are asking for more budget, yet you cannot account. We need accountability. If you can account for it, you see the other day Obado's assets were actually being forfeited because he could not explain
How he got them.
So if you got 20 million and it's your money, and you can explain to us that, you see, in KBC, I earn 10 million per month, I have saved for 3 months, I have been able to get 30 million.
Yes.
Now the 20 million, I'm buying the latest autobiography. So we see it.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
let's take a break. See, kila mtu akona chai?
Kila mtu akona chai.
Let's enjoy our chai. Wow, okay. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate, ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
When are you ever going to stop?
Surely you are not one to doubt the repercussions?
You need to get back to the ring. Kaikara has not yet won.
Did he grow weak or something?
It's time to show Kaikara Joy left her man here.
We'll create a small scandal.
Hello?
Just follow my instructions.
Take good care of them.
The only problem I have is you driving that agenda to achieve something. Shame on you.
Pressure babangu inapanda daily. I want to end this once and for all.
What are you doing here? Talk about. Kwenda kabisa.
All right, welcome back. So we are still having this discussion here today, being the day that the Parliament is going to have the Committee of the Whole House to debate on the finance bill. As Miola Moja said, they are not going to bring any amendment to that because attempting to do that would mean they are supporting the finance bill, but their stand is that they want the entire bill to be set aside in its entirety. And now, we are waiting to see what's going to happen in the House later in the day. But let's continue the discussion here. Gentlemen, my question is, so we've seen a number of abductions and people being held incommunicado over the last couple of days. But my question is, this was something new. Wakili, you've seen this, you've represented, I know. It's not something new. Do you think it's now high time that the government used another tactic, having in mind that the protest that we are seeing right now is taking a different dimension, a different tactic. During the day, they're on the street. When they have their quote-unquote off days, they are online. Do you think it's now high time the government also advanced with time? Go ahead. Then I'll come back to you.
That's why
in 1 minute, yes.
And that's why I said there is the beauty of this demonstration not being centered on a specific individual. Because if it was centered on a specific individual, then there will be intimidation, they will be locked in their, house arrests. But now, if you arrest one person, I hear they have arrested Oguda. Actually, they have arrested 9 persons just from last Saturday's engagement on Twitter. Allow me to take you back to the Deputy President's speech during their assumption of office, and even the President's stand. One, they said that not again in Kenya shall we witness police abductions, intimidation, that everyone will be free to air their grievances without fear of being intimidated and being arrested. But they have reneged on their word. They are the same people who have refused to listen. And I'm calling upon the President, the Deputy President, and even every stakeholder of this government to do one thing. You can arrest, but even as you arrest, please listen and respond.
Listen and respond.
Listen to the issues and respond, without which you will arrest everyone, but still you cannot reach the Kenyans, international citizens who are actually advancing and advocating for this, because this thing has gone digital. You saw the other day Malema actually voiced his opinion on what is going on in Kenya. So you will arrest 2, you will arrest 3, but you cannot arrest the 50,000 Kenyans who joined the X space on Saturday to actually voice their grievances.
Dan, go ahead.
Thank you. Now, one thing I want us to take back is when we look at the setup of Parliament, the Budget Committee, the ODM or Azimio, we have members of Azimio who are in the Budget Committee. And I want to answer that question you asked. When they were preparing this budget, the members of Azimio were in that, the Budget Committee has members of Azimio, and they were in that committee preparing the budget. You cannot cook your food today and tomorrow night and say, we are not going to pack it. It is not that Azimio is not part of this budget, and they cannot deny it. And let them not play cards with the Kenyans. Because we have registrators in the Parliament who are members of Azimio. We have members of Azimio who voted yes in this finance bill last week. So let us be honest to one another. The other point is, abductions are just intimidations. Because one thing, they don't have the reader of this Gen Z. So they are trying to look for a reader. And I can actually tell the President, kindly stop abducting our children. These are children who have gone to the school. We have taken through them the education system. They know what they are doing. And actually, to be on the safe side, just listen to their voice. Because what they are telling us is, there's a vacuum in leadership. There's a vacuum in representation. There's a vacuum in everything the government is doing. And that vacuum, we need to gap that. We need to bridge the gap. We need to bridge the gap. Otherwise, these guys are not going to relent.
What do you think this portends to 2027 as we speak? Because we've had a number of members of Parliament also coming out to castigate, some supporting the demonstrations happening right now. Some of the leaders, in the past have, also participated in different forums, different protests, and here they are. But then let's talk about 2027, just 2 years away. What do you think this really have to do with 2027? Peter?
2027 will be an interesting year if the youth maintains and sustains this momentum. It is high time they vie for these political positions. It's high time they maintain their stand. You see, the problem is that sometimes we elect leaders who are very youthful and very energetic, but once they get to Parliament, I don't know what happens. I don't know what kind of spell is in that house. That once you get to that house, everything changes and you become a darling of the state, and you forthwith become a sycophant and a loyalist who does not even understand the bills and the requirements to actually participate in a legislative process as required in the Constitution. Just trying to answer what my friend here said. Some Azimio leaders voted for this bill.
Yes.
And one of such person is my member of parliament, Honorable Karoli Omondi.
Yes.
And I was wondering, the people of Suba South have actually gone to the street, they have rejected this bill.
Yes.
Before he actually voted for the second reading.
Yes.
They are
Going for the third now.
they are going for the third one. He was elected by the people of Suba South, but has insisted in voting against the will of his party. So whose interest is he actually advancing? He is not voting as, he's not voting for his people. He's not voting as per the political parties, his political party. And you wonder. Then, you see, they are also used to political tokenism. I want to tell you that my area MP Karoli Omondi, immediately the second bill, the second reading, the bill was passed in the second stage. It was in the constituency with goodies, government of Kenya, beans, rice, and oil, trying to distribute and hoodwink the electorates. One thing I tell them, take it. It is your money. But do not forget to punish those who punished you with punitive taxes.
When I listened to Cherargei said that some of these leaders who are being castigated right now, over time, they'll be celebrated. Because Kenya is walking a different path right now of writing off the debts that accrued all over the years. And at some point, they will be vindicated.
Oloo, thank you for that. You have put it very well. Let me just put this to Kenyans. The narrative that we are being taught by these legislators is one, that those people who voted for the bill are the ones who are going to benefit from the national cake. I want to debunk that.
It's blackmail.
It's a blackmail. Because when we were in campaign in 2022, we had Azimio and we had Kenya Kwanza. After elections, the Kenya Kwanza formed the government. Do you want to tell me, Oloo, and the Wakili here from Mozuba,
yes,
do you want to tell me that Karoli Omondi has not been receiving the city of Kitty?
He has been
Yet
receiving.
he's on the opposition side.
He has been receiving.
The lie that is being spread and propagated by these legislators is one, that Kenyans don't know what they are doing. And we want to debunk that lie. We want to debunk that lie that these guys, when they get to parliament, they think that they are superior. This issue of superiority in this Kenya, and this is what is eating Kenyans. The superiority is what is eating everyone. Because the moment you are elected,
yes,
you actually think that it is your money that made you to be elected, not the will of the people. So you don't serve the people who elected you. You are serving your own interest. And that's why you see they are spreading that lies, that if we vote no, we are not to get allocations. Who's money?
Yeah.
Number two, we have the finance bill. This finance bill is for the entire country. It's not for Azimio or Kenya Kwanza. Number three, the Kenya Kwanza progressed to actually become the reading party because of one thing, the narrative of Mama Boga and Boda, bottom-up economy. Now, Oloo, tell me, 2 years down the line, which project can we pinpoint on the ground that Kenya Kwanza has completed?
You need to be patient. Dan, we need to be patient.
We need to be patient.
Yes.
Fine. But we are doing budget every financial year.
The president said that we need to give him time.
No, I'm coming there. We are patient, but we have budgets for 2023, 2024, which is now at the contentious. We had a budget of 2022, 2023. Where is that money? And yet, we are seeing the president hiring a private jet of 250 million, and then come to hoodwink us Kenyans that is a friend who paid for that.
He said that.
Where are we heading?
The president clearly
Where are we
said,
heading, Oloo? Where is the country
said
heading?
that it was only 10
How do we hoodwink Kenyans? A friend can pay 10 million for your private jet.
And what are they getting in return?
And what was the return of that friend who paid the 10 million? This fallacy, we need to debunk it.
Okay. So the question is, where is the option that we have right now, gentlemen? Because as we are, the committee of the whole house is going to debate that bill today. Whichever way, they're going to vote for it, and we are going to have another financial year running.
Let Kenyans camp at parliament. That finance bill should be taken away. We had President Kenyatta, the first president of this republic. There were the same report. He faced report for eight times. The budget was rejected by Kenyans. Let that budget not go through the third reading.
What another option? Do we have another option? Apart from going to Parliament, apart from rejecting the entire bill, what other option do you think is out there to be taken by the President or by the administration?
I need to address two things here. One, I have said that the President needs to listen and respond. And then the President needs to address specific issues like rampant corruption and misallocation of funds.
Yes.
You see, when you allocate funds which we cannot see the results. I've heard you more than 2 times now telling us to be patient with the government. Patient is also a virtue we understand and we appreciate. But we be patient when we see effort.
Yes.
We must see effort from your end. We must see that there was a 2023 bill, and this 2023 financial bill, this is what we achieved. But even with the 2023 financial bill, I'm telling you, the KRA did not meet its targets. Why didn't it meet its targets? It's because with the punitive taxes, businesses go down and you cannot raise taxes. Investments, many people shy away from investments and they cannot really invest, and that means the revenues will go down. Then you also encourage tax evasion, and many people will not declare, and there is a lot of non-compliances with taxation. So the President needs to listen. And when I talk of listening, it reminds me of the predicament of leaders who refuse to listen.
Yes.
Where we have had the Sudanese revolution around 2018, 2019. Yes. It started with the increase of prices of basic commodities like bread, and which actually eventually led to the ouster of the then president, Omar Bashir. And you saw the kind of political turmoil. We saw the Arab Spring in the year 2010 and 2012. And we saw what happened to Tunisia. We saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. We saw what happened to various leaders in Sri Lanka. We have seen the Hong Kong umbrella movement, where about 79 days youth camped at Hong Kong. They wanted their voices be heard. They wanted increased democratic space, and that is what we are looking for. We are telling the President, Mr. President, listen and respond to the issues that have been raised by the youth. There is a common Kiswahili say that mtoto akililia wembe mpatie. Let us have our razor blade. We also can appreciate that this razor blade cuts this way. Then we can make informed choices. Maybe next time if we get that you actually were right. But right now, do not force it down our throats. Do not force it down our veins. We need to be listened to. Number 2, the President also needs to foster transparency. We need to know that when this is the budget, this is the plan we have for public debt, because we are raising money to service public debt and fiscal responsibility. But right now we cannot see. We keep on borrowing. We keep on borrowing, and the debt burden keeps increasing. So we need those addressed. Number 3, we also need these presidents, the leaders, the members of parliament subjected to life auditing, lifestyle auditing. A member of parliament who is walking around, there is money in the bag or money under the mattress and money in the bank. Just imagine someone carrying 2 million, 1 million, 20 million every weekend. That is money in cash. We call them money in bags. And then we do not know how much is it for them in the bank. And these are members of parliament. We know how much they earn. Even if you could calculate it, even if it's a business, which kind of business will give you a lot of money to that extent?
To dish every weekend.
To dish every weekend. So we need a lifestyle audit on these leaders so that they can return the public confidence back. Number 3, the President has also, one mistake that the President did is that in his cabinet, he elevated and appointed politicians in very crucial and key positions. These politicians, they have one weakness, just like any other politician. They always believe that they can deal with everyone like a politician. They always believe that they can dish money. They always believe that they can propagate their ideologies through propaganda with ideologies that do not make sense for a period. But look at what Uhuru did. He had cabinet secretaries who looked like cabinet secretaries.
Devoid of politics.
Devoid of politics. Looking at Magoha, he looked like education. Looking at Matiang'i, he looked like security. Looking at Mutahi Kagwe, you saw how he responded. But this is a government that you see they are clueless, and even the President has admitted that you see these my people, they don't even understand their dockets, but still maintain them.
Be fair. The administration And even the ministers who are in the cabinet are all learned people.
Although, allow me to put this.
Go ahead.
The predicament we have in this country is one. Is the state capture. The state capture has captured parliament. The state capture has captured parastatus. The state capture has captured all CSs. Why? How do I say this? When we look at the president's statement, he categorically stated that he knows all the CSs, what they are doing. So, do I need to come and ask you what is your budget for this military? If at all I know what you are doing as a president.
Yes.
Do I need to come and ask Peter what is the Ministry of Education doing? If I know. The problem we saw during the end of term 1 for Kenya's schools was a mixed, was actually a reaction by Kenyans when Machogu could not give a directive and he was waiting for the president to give him directive. So you wonder, we have the CSS who cannot control their ministries. And this is what I'm saying. We have a state capture by the executive and he needs to desist from this state capture. If at all we are going to propel this country into a prosperity.
Gentlemen, do you have hope for this country? In as far as this is concerned, Article 37 is very clear. You have all your freedom. You can do whatever you want, to demonstrate, etc., etc. Do we have hope moving forward? Let me start with you.
There is a lot of hope, especially with this new movement. If the president will listen to us, if the president will respond to our issues, I tell you there will be hope. And you see right now, gone are the days where the political leaders will use the church. The youth have also infiltrated, they have gone to church and they are telling their pastors, no politics in church. No politics in church. We need our issues addressed. So if the president can go back, relook at his manifesto, relook at what he promised Kenyans, and relook at the concerns of the public, then there is a lot of hope. Then number 2, if the president can have constructive dialogue with every stakeholder, starting from the youth, going to the NGOs, going to the human rights activists, going to the judiciary, going to the members of parliament and allowing them to do their work without interference, then they can do oversight. Then we have hope. Number 3, if the president can look at his cabinet and tell them that I need results, that I want you to be independent, that I want you to advise me, that I want to see what manifestos and what you are doing in your various dockets, and you're able to report to me without having to fear that you have to consult in everything, then we have a hope. Number 4, we have a hope if the youth can sustain and maintain this momentum to 2027 and even now take this conversation away from ethnic politics and political opportunists and stand out for their rights and stand out to vote for their own, then maintain that momentum even after being voted. We have a hope. We have a hope if the government, there's something that is very funny, that even the government spokesman speaks something in the morning and the president speaks another thing. So I don't know why he is even there. The contradiction. I don't know why he is even there. So we have hope if we can constructively involve the youth, constructively involve everyone, the citizens and the members of parliament. They understand that their responsibility to represent the electorate outweighs their political allegiance and even loyalty and sycophancy to the president. Then we have a hope for this country, and we must stand up to fight for that space, regardless of the intimidation, regardless of what people will say about this. If we do it very well, the church already will join us. But again, if the church joins us, we have the civil society joining us, and eventually the president, the cabinet, and everyone will join us for a prosperous Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter. In 20 seconds, kindly.
Let us embrace love, peace. Let us love one another. We have hope because we have divergent views. But what the current president is doing, abducting our youth because they have divergent views, that's not democracy. Democracy is when me and Peter, we can disagree to agree. We don't need to see the abductions.
Yes.
Let us have divergent views. It is anchored in our constitution, Article 37. That's why we have the freedom of expression. We have the human rights. What is all this being demonstrated by the government that if I have a divergent view, then I become an enemy of the state? How? We have hope because the generation that we have raised up is voicing on our behalf, on behalf of those mama bogas who cannot voice on their behalf. We have hope because Kenya is progressing into real democracy, a democracy whereby Gen Z are coming to take over. We have hope, Oloo, and this I want to tell Kenyans, because we are able to stand upright and condemn the corruption that is thriving in this country. That's our hope.
I love the way we finished it. We have hope. Nyaga, political analyst, and Peter Simba Wasaga, who is also an advocate of the High Court and governance expert. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I told you 1 hour is just like 10 minutes.
It's already gone.
It's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Allow me to say a word to my people of Embu. I want to bring warm greetings.
Oh, okay.
I want to bring warm greetings to the people of Embu.
Okay.
And I want to encourage Kenyans to invest in Embu County. Embu is a land of opportunity. We have the best exploration in Embu in a place called Mwea National Park. Oloo, have you ever been to Embu?
Yes.
You have been to Embu?
Yes.
The climate is very conducive.
I know that.
Yes.
But I've never been at the national park.
And we have the beautiful girls to make you a home in Embu County.
Peter, have you gone to Ruma National Park?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Ruma?
Yes.
Or better still, you should come to the greatest beach in this country, Wadianga Beach. Go to Victory Farm.
That's why you have hope.
Super South Sindo is, provides Kenya with fish. You see, Victory Farm is located in Sindo.
Yes.
And you've seen the fish, and even the president came there to relaunch it.
You're talking about fish and you're talking about chicken.
Yes. Come eat fish and see Roman salads.
Come to Mwea National Park and explore the world.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Okay. Beach one day.
Asante sana.
I am coming.
A quick one before we wrap it up. There was an allegation that the Communications Authority was planning to shut down the internet, and last night the Director General, that CEO, David Mugonyi, sent a dispatch saying that the Communications Authority of Kenya has received inquiries regarding an imminent internet shutdowns on Tuesday, 25th June 2024. It continues that for the avoidance of doubt, the authority has no intention whatsoever to shut down internet traffic or interfere with the quality of connectivity. Such actions would be a betrayal of the Constitution as a whole, the freedom of expression in particular, and our own ethos. Finally, he says that further, such actions would also sabotage our fast-growing digital economy, as the internet connectivity supports thousands of livelihoods across the country. However, we urge Kenyans to use the digital space with respect to all and within the confines of the law. Signed, David Mugonyi, EBS, who is also the Director General and CEO of the Communications Authority. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Victor Oloo. Up next, we are taking a break, but we come crossing over to Zinga, where my colleague Rashid Mwamkondo is also going to be continuing with this discussion, but right now on the Kiswahili version, mchakato kuhusu maandamano ya mswada wa kifedha. You don't have to miss that. Good morning. I'm Victor Oloo. Bye-bye.